not here campaigning for the best player in the world or in the history. I'm not saying that, because everybody plays differently in different eras.
I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world. That's simple.
Kruger, what's going on?
What's up? How was your flight back from Nashville?
It was good. It was quick. I was just telling you, I'm following 60 people on Twitter now, and there's 55 of them are probably just random beat writers for, the Rockies. And
how many of those guys, like, their followers go up by, 10,000, and then they go down by tomorrow because the winter meetings are over?
Well, that's what happens is, you know what I did? I was following Heyman, all the big-name guys only, and they would retweet.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw a guy I wasn't following, I clicked on and followed him. And what the heck? It was pretty cool stuff, though. I mean, today's technology.
It happens so quick.
You know it. I don't have MLB Network, obviously. And I don't know if I needed it. Because it's
right there.
I had Twitter.
It's it's a lot of fun. And, seeing what different guys are saying. And some guys are saying this deal's in. I thought one of the great parts is guys would tweet stuff like pretty big names, and then Ken Rosenthal would come in and be like, nope, you're wrong. And Rosenthal was right every single time. There was one trade, I don't remember who it was, but the money was between the Padres and the Cardinals. Who did they trade for? I don't remember.
John Jay and Jerko.
Yeah. So the Padres were supposedly going to send over $17 million to the Cardinals. And Rosenthal said the Padres are going to send over 6 point. Now everyone is like Heyman, the guy Nightingale, the guy from the New York Post that's always on the MLB Network. I mean, they're all saying 17 million, and Rosenthal tweets it's 6.5 million is going to come out, and then the Padres tweeted that we'll be sending 6.5 million. And it's like he doesn't even shove it in people's faces. He's just right all the time.
Yeah, I love that, and then I also love people giving shout-outs like first reported.
Yeah. Oh, God bless.
Some people will...
Confirming report. Yeah, this guy's already said it.
Yeah. We'll get into winter meetings. A lot of trades went down, or a lot of... It seemed like there was a lot of action.
Yeah.
But before we...
But there wasn't, you really think about it, there wasn't a huge big name because all the two big names that, obviously Greinke and Price were before it, but Cueto's still out there. Hayward's still out there. Upton, Chris Davis. They look like they're close, but it wasn't.
Seemed like pitching was the flavor of the bullpen.
Yep.
I have that down. That's
a lot of bullpen deals.
Real quick, jumping sports, going to football to get this out of the way.
Yep.
The Pats have lost 2 games in a row now.
Yep.
I know they came off that. I thought they should have won the game in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
The dropped punt hurt them big time.
Yep.
And they ended up releasing that guy, too.
I think they put him on the practice squad, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not gone?
Yeah, he's still there.
He'll be back.
Yep.
He'll catch the game-winning touchdown
in the Super Bowl.
So then this past Sunday, they lost again to the Eagles.
Yep.
Which, all right, so there's a lot of talk about the Pats are up 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
Seem to be in control for the most part.
Yep.
A little bit of a slow start. I can't remember. Anyways.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty for that. I think it was 0-0 at the first quarter. It was,
Yeah, so anyways, 14-0, and the Patriots decide to do, I don't even know the right term for it.
I think you call it a drop kick.
A drop pooch kick thing.
It's a rugby kick.
Essentially an onside kick.
Yep.
Just a little further.
They basically pooched it over. So you watch the game. You watch on the kickoff. You've got kind of like your first line of guys. Then you have a space, and then you got your back end guys.
Yeah.
They basically tried to get it over the front line and in between both, and it didn't work out so hot.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And you said it wasn't even on TV.
It was not on TV. They showed it later on.
Yeah.
The
not
actual
live,
thing.
though.
Yeah, not live. It wasn't pretty. I don't know what was getting accomplished.
So I heard Monday, Tuesday, didn't really listen to sports radio because I didn't want to hear people, bitch and moan about how much the Pats suck.
Yep.
But
because they're still 10-2.
Because they're still 10-2. They do drop to the 3 seed, but whatever. They're 10-2. But there was a theory out there that Belichick. All right, we can agree Belichick has an ego.
Yeah, absolutely. They all do.
He's a football historian.
Yep.
He knows the past. He takes great pride. He may not let on, but I think he's very engaged with his legacy and where he ends up in all this. And I feel I as much as some people don't agree, I think he did that specifically. Well, I think he thought the game was in hand.
Absolutely.
And maybe he had more trust in his players than he should have.
Yep.
Right? And then B, I think he did it for show.
To be able to say he did it.
Yes, I really do. He did the Flutie years ago. He did
kicked an extra point, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I don't think it's now.
Why else would he do it? So my thought is if all right. So let's say you're up 14-0. You want to quote unquote go for the kill, right? Well, then onside kick it.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there saying, "Hey, I want to throw them off guard," like they did with the Redskins.
Yes.
And they did it really early. I want to say after they scored on their first possession, they did it like right then. Like we're talking 10 minutes left in the first quarter.
I missed that one too. I came back.
If you want to do that, I wouldn't agree with it because I think your defense was playing pretty good. But why not just onsides kick it?
Yeah.
Gostkowski's pretty. Someone said that an onside kick, an onside kick not at the end of the game, like when you don't know it's coming, is 50-50. Right. Like it's a 50-50 shot. You get it. When you do it like at the end of the game and everyone knows it's coming, it's like 30-70. You're not going to get it. Really? But they still got one at the end of the game. I think Gostkowski's pretty good at it.
So there's the other thing. I mean, there's a lot that happened inside that game. I mean, at one point they were down. They were up 14-0, and they led up 35 unanswered points.
Yep.
So they were down 35-14 at home to the Eagles,
giving up one defensive touchdown.
Yeah. It was a wacky game, and I think it all started...
Two. The first one was a...
Okay, yeah. It started to get real wacky after that kick. Then the Eagles blocked the punt.
Yep.
And they got the touchdown right before halftime. Brady threw a couple picks. But even with all that being said, I mean, the Pats had the ball. They were in a tough position, but they had the ball.
They had 3 drops in that drive, too.
They did. They had some guys drop some passes. Which do you think there's anything in that right now? I know we haven't talked about air pressure footballs in a while. Doesn't it seem like there's been There's been more drops this year?
There are. I think they're leading the league in drops.
So
I think I don't know what's going on with LaFell. The one Amendola dropped on the last drive, I think that's a lot harder than it looked. He got his hands on it, but he had to kind of turn in midair.
Yeah.
But I think in Brady's defense, I think that's the only place he could have thrown it without it getting picked off.
Sure.
I don't know. I think I remember watching it and I'm like, this is crazy. Not only because they've given up 35 points, but they gave up 35, and the 21 in between are on a blocked field goal, a 99-yard touchdown,
that's
pick
right,
6, and then a punt return.
Yeah.
And then, they get back into it, and then the Eagles fumble. And I was watching with my wife. I'm like, my God, they're going to tie this game up. It's stupid. Like, I almost for a second there was like, is the league really this bad? Like, is it that bad?
Well, it was like, why? I'm glad you brought that fumble up because it was another situation where they pretty much just had to run the time down.
Yeah.
And the guy, it wasn't DeMarco Murray because DeMarco Murray, for whatever reason,
is horrible.
He was, Chip Kelly's just given up on that guy. Yeah. And he's got a guy in there, I don't know his name, coached him at Oregon, I guess. And he seemed like he was trying to get that extra yard or two instead of just going down to get the clock running. And poop, the ball pops out. And it goes to show you, though, just how quickly, and we'll get into the Warriors, obviously. They still have not lost, but how quickly things can change, not only in a season, but in just a game in general, huh?
Yeah.
You're down 21 points in the fourth quarter, and you have a chance to tie it with, enough time left. Holy smokes.
Well, I think looking back, and they brought this up today, I heard someone talk about this today, is I think they were, You don't see it a whole lot out of the Patriots, but I think after the Denver games, they were legitimately mad. I mean, look, they're always mad. Everyone's mad when you lose, but they were mad at some things that happened, officiating, stuff like that. And I think, looking back, I think they really wanted the undefeated season. And it's
You think so?
I bring it up with Belichick. I think he wanted it a lot more than people were bringing on. Like, he has that straight face. We're looking to do it this week. Blah 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 blah. But I think just a little part of them. I think they were just thrown off this week. Yeah. If nothing else, you can sit there and say they're human.
They're just depleted.
That's part of it.
Come on, Gronk, Edelman.
Yeah, no doubt.
Deion Lewis, who fairly new to the team, but
Yep.
had a big role in it.
Absolutely.
I think it. Amendola was back. Is he 100%? Obviously not. Interesting to see today Gronkowski back on the practice field.
I saw that. I thought that was interesting.
Now, okay, so let's stay on this for a little bit, and let me ask you this. Okay, let's pretend they wanted to go undefeated.
Yep.
Obviously that's not going to happen now. They have 2 losses in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay. After that first loss, let's just focus on getting home field.
Yep.
If not home field, one of the top 2 seeds.
Yep.
Getting
a bye.
Okay. Now they dropped to the third seed. Cincy and Denver play each other. So
Cincy and Denver, and I was actually looked this up. Cincy and Denver play each other. Cincinnati hosts Pittsburgh this weekend, so that could be a tough game.
Okay.
And Denver goes to Pittsburgh in a couple weeks, so that's another tough game.
Okay.
So the point being is, so they play each other, so someone's got to lose. So or tie, yeah, whatever. You can't. You're sitting in the 3 seed as we speak, but I don't think neither the Bengals or one of them is not going to run the table.
Okay, so
if both of them might not.
Okay, but if you're the Patriots and you have Gronkowski returning to the practice field,
yep.
You have Edelman who is on the mend and getting back. Deion Lewis is gone. We understand that. Do you change your mindset and go with we need to get help?
We need to get healthy for the playoffs if it means we're a 3 seed or 4 seed.
Okay, so is it more important to get that first round bye?
Yeah.
Or is it more important to go in with a full healthy? Because they're going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Maybe it's too early to decide this, but if I'm them, if I have to play that first weekend, I have to play that first weekend, but I want my guys healthy.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, as I was listening to the radio today, and there was some people in Foxborough saying that Edelman is doing very well. His rehab is going very well, and you don't want to say it, but it looks like he might be on the shorter end of the 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. So if you line that up, 4 weeks from when he was hurt, let's call it 5, he might be able to play in like the Jets and at the Dolphins. And they were bringing up the point, do you play Edelman knowing that if you win one of those games, it gets you a bye where you can basically say, all right, we'll play at the Jets. We win. We know we have a bye. We'll sit you against the Dolphins. You get another week, or do you risk losing and just not play him again to the playoffs?
I'd sit him.
I would too.
I would sit him, and I would go in strong, and I would go in healthy to the playoffs.
He's kind of – doesn't he strike you as someone that's going to go out there a little too early?
Yes, I think they would have to keep him.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you've got all this talk about Gronkowski.
Yeah.
And releasing a statement, a joint statement with the team.
Yep.
And then he has a video that comes out on Bleacher Report.
Yep.
And then you have Edelman. I feel like Gronk would be like, you know what? I feel good, but I'm going to need another week. Where you have Edelman going, no, I'm good enough.
Yeah.
When he's not good enough.
Yep.
He just wants to get back out there because he'll run through a wall for Brady and Belichick. It's unique to see the two different, and who knows? Maybe
I don't think Gronkowski's like soft or anything. I just think
you don't think so?
No, I just think he's looking out for himself a little bit.
Do you think that he just? Do you think somebody's in his ear?
I think his dad is.
So that's what I mean. And I'm not saying Gronkowski's dumb.
Yeah.
He's obviously not dumb. But do you think he doesn't care? And he's like, if I feel good, I'll play. And then you've got someone over his shoulder going, "Hey, Rob, this is about you.
Yeah.
You feel good, but we need you at 100%.
Yeah.
For this, and this.
Yeah.
Think about long term, because if there's no one there talking to him, he's going to go out and play with a broken leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's a unique situation because everything he does is with his family. which is great. That's awesome. You know, I think he's got 4 brothers.
He's got a few.
Yeah, like 3, 4, maybe. I don't think it's 5.
they're all in the NFL, or they were. At some
Yeah,
point.
they've all played, and they're all that meathead tight, let's go party, and it's awesome. But I think at the same time, they know that, some of them have played in the NFL and whatnot, but Rob's your moneymaker. That's your
How do
guy.
you think that works? Do you ever think about athletes and families? I mean, obviously, if you made $100 million a year, you would take care of your family.
Yeah.
But you like? I just assume. Do you think is Gronkowski giving his brothers like $2 million? Or does he just buying them things, or
You would
does he
think
buy them
so.
a house?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and then if your sibling is making millions of dollars,
Yep.
like, are you supposed to go up to them and can you ask them for $1 million?
It's
Like,
weird. Yeah.
Say like you're David Price's brother.
Yeah.
He just signs a $200 million contract.
Yeah.
Can you be like, hey, Dave, can I have $1 million?
Can I get $1 million?
Is that
That's
like
nothing? That's
I would
nothing.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just something I thought of. Hey, let me ask you this about the Pats.
Yep.
They've two in a row.
Yep.
Strong chance to be 3 in a row. Tough game this Sunday night.
Absolutely.
There's some chink in the armor right now. There's some. Their weaknesses. They look human.
Yeah.
Right? They
Yep.
look like an
Absolutely.
unstoppable juggernaut. Tom Brady throws for 300 yards, 3 TDs, but mixes in 2 picks.
Yep.
Comes back down to earth a little bit. His weapons are gone. Do you think teams around the league are looking at them going, oh, maybe we can get them now?
Absolutely.
Like, there's
I mean,
not that fear to play the Pats.
I don't know about that, but they're certainly not crying over the injuries. No one's going to feel bad for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
See, so you look at the remaining schedule. They're at Houston, home against Tennessee, at the Jets, and at the Dolphins. I mean,
After Sunday,
yeah.
Dolphins and the Jets will be tough. That's in New York, correct?
Yeah, and you got to imagine the Jets are going to be fighting for a wild card.
Yeah.
So they'll still be in it. It's all about getting healthy.
Yeah.
And you're lucky because you're in a situation where you are very banged up, but you have guys that look like they're going to be back.
Yeah.
You have very few guys that are out for the year. Deion Lewis,
Yeah.
Nate Solder.
Yeah.
But for the most, Hightower, Gronkowski, Edelman, it looks like they're going to be able to be back.
Let's stay in football, but switch over to the NFC. Carolina Panthers. They still
Probably
lost.
the most sneaky 12-0 team ever.
Are they sneaky or are they legit? How good
They
is
have
Cam
to be
Newton?
legit.
I mean, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. They're 12-0. They're 12-0, correct?
Yeah, 12-0.
Because they heck of a. I thought this past weekend's game against the Saints showed a lot.
Absolutely.
It was this past weekend.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. They played that same time. They were playing simultaneous with the
They
Patriots.
were.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. They were. I thought it showed a lot of Cam Newton. Man, he's growing on me a little bit. The pre-stage dances and pre-choreographed whatever. I can do without that. Have fun, enjoy yourself,
Yeah.
and work hard. That guy, man, if you ask me, he's the MVP of the league.
Absolutely. I agree. And it doesn't and it's God bless Patriots fans, but it drives them crazy when someone says Cam Newton's the MVP.
He is.
It's like it doesn't mean Brady's bad.
Brady's
It just means the thing is Cam Newton's doing something that no one expected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's kind of taken, and not that Brady doesn't, but I think to an extent you expect it so much out of Tom
Well,
Brady.
that's the other thing,
Yeah.
too, is like I was thinking about this, and why don't they have an MVP in AF and NFC?
I don't know,
Why is it
because
just
it's
one?
similar to
Baseball,
AL and NL. Yeah.
Anyways, I think you just nailed it with Brady. They've done it for so long. People come to expect it, and when they do good, when they start 10-0, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
They focus more on the next 2 losses.
Well, think about the 2 years he did win MVP. He was the 2007 year, broke the NFL at the time passing. In 2010, I think he threw 1 pick the whole year, 2 picks the whole year.
Or something stupid.
Yeah, and all those guys, all those players around him are really young, and he took them to, that was a year where they thought that they would be like a down year.
Yeah.
It's just kind of expected, unfortunately.
So let's say the Panthers. I don't know their remaining schedule.
They are.
I know they have the Falcons, I think, this weekend.
Yes, and next weekend they are at the New York Giants,
Okay.
which could be a tough one.
Okay.
I think they play the Falcons again, and someone else is mixed in there. Maybe the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I think they're going to run the table in the regular season.
Yep.
I really do.
Yeah.
But let's say they do, okay, and then they make it to the Super Bowl. What if they go undefeated this season? Like that, does that bother you at all? Because with the Patriots, first of all, what's happened to the Patriots this year goes to show you just how hard it is to go undefeated.
Absolutely.
Injuries, weird plays. But the Patriots had 5, 6, 7 years of success leading up to that undefeated season.
Yeah.
And then they continued their success afterwards.
Yeah.
Not because they signed a couple really good players and they were gone the next year.
Yep.
They put a system in place, same head coach, same quarterback. The Carolina Panthers kind of, like, don't you think that if they went undefeated and won the Super Bowl, next year they could be
go 8-8.
8-8. Like, I feel like it would just be...
Well, I think if you look back in the Patriots when they almost did it, it would have been like the capper of all cappers on that.
Yes.
What was it, 7,
You're
7,
not
8
capping anything with the Panthers.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you're a Panthers fan, hopefully you're just starting something.
Yes.
And I think, like I like to say, I think it ends up being it's something we can only revisit 10 years from now. Let's just say they go undefeated, they go 19-0, they win the Super Bowl. And the next couple of years, they're in and out of the playoffs, doing what NFL teams usually do. 8-8, 10-6, 6-10, It's not as special, I don't think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it is special. It is. It should be. Because 19-0 is amazing.
But remember back early 2000s, I think, Seattle won like 116 games.
They almost won 119, lost in the ALCS to the Yankees.
But they like regular season
and they lost in like 5 games. Like it was just not even close.
And then the next year they're just back. They're just back to being terrible. To me, it's like that doesn't.
I was reading something about the Panthers. I don't remember who said it, but it was someone prominent. Maybe it was Luke Kuechly, and they're starting to ask him the questions about the undefeated season, and he said, "Look, that's great, but our goal is the number 1 seed." So it makes you wonder if, let's say, they get the 1 seed after week 14.
Oh yeah.
Do they rein it back? Do they?
Oh, that's
guys?
tough. That's tough. I think if you're 14-0, you got to go for it.
Well, then you look at it and you say, guys, this may never happen again.
Yeah. Well, look at the Warriors.
Yep.
If you want to switch over to NBA right now, talk some basketball.
And that's what the Patriots did. They had the 1 seed locked up by like week 13.
Yeah.
Week 14, they went for it. And I don't think you can look back and say because they went for it, it wasn't like people got hurt during those games, but it's a risk.
It's interesting. It's fun. I think.
But then you look at like the Colts. Remember, they used to always lock up a seed really high, and then they'd sit everyone. Then by the time the playoffs came around, everyone was off, and it was ugly.
What are your thoughts, real quick, on Denver? I mean, the whole Peyton Manning thing. It seems. I think I saw him in jeans and like a Broncos jacket. He was actually at the game this past weekend.
He was at the Patriots game too.
Was he?
Yeah, they like showed him shaking Brady's hand.
Oh,
before,
okay.
Just wearing jeans and like.
Yeah.
It looked weird. First of all, just jeans on the sidelines. It just.
What's his deal, man? Is he done or what? Is he gonna play next year? Because I don't think
he wants to, and I really think someone's gonna take him.
There's so many bad quarterbacks. I feel like he would start for. He could find a job.
You don't think like Buffalo?
I don't think he would play in Buffalo just because of the cold weather.
Yeah.
But I would say someone like San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't know. San Francisco.
The problem becomes though. So let's say you're San Francisco,
Houston.
right?
You brought up before.
Yeah. You have Colin Kaepernick, who's been terrible.
Yeah.
Who just looks like he's in a complete spiral. Let's say you still have some faith in him. You have Blaine Gabbert, who's been starting. He's been average at best, but shown progress the last 3 or 4.
Won a few games.
Yeah, won a few games. So let's just say he continues to progress, and they finish the year 4-2, 5-1. They're going to miss the playoffs, but maybe they go 7-9. Yeah. Do you impede that progress and bring in Peyton Manning for probably a year, and kind of go for it and say, hey, he's gonna be here probably a year. Be ready because he didn't look good last year, but if he's good, he's our guy.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't. I think from a business side, you would.
Well, that's the other side.
Manning.
If you're Jed York, the owner of the Niners,
yeah,
you're saying I could get Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I could sell 18 jerseys all day long, and when he retires, he can say he was at one point a 49er, you know?
Yeah, I know. Interesting. This twist, NFL, I just, it is what it is. My warm and fuzzies about the Patriots have gone away.
Yeah.
I think that has to do a lot with the injuries. We'll see what happens Sunday night. I thought they were going to get blown out in Denver, and they showed me something up until, they dropped the punt and Gronkowski got hurt. But the Philadelphia game was just, to me, those games happen. And
I've gone back and forth. Bad games happen, and we've been lucky they don't happen a whole lot around here.
Yeah.
They just don't. Think about how many times, the Giants do it all the time. You just go out there and they're like, just look horrible. Yeah. And you're sitting and watching, like, what did you do all week, And before you know it, they turn it on and, they look like world beaters. It just.
Do you think that because that happens a lot in the NFL?
Yeah.
Don't you, say all week you're working on a game plan and the coaches tell you this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then the game starts and it's not working.
Yep.
Do you think players are like, I know I should have been over there and I wanted to be over there.
Yeah.
But the coaches told me I have to stay in this lane or stay on this guy.
Probably.
And then you know what I mean? Like, do you think, I feel like players aren't smart enough to make the changes on their own.
Yeah.
The coaches need to go, hey guys, we went with plan A. It's not working.
Yeah.
Let's go to B.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, guys, if A doesn't work, go to B on your own. I feel like the players wait for the coaches to tell them.
Well, I think they're
change.
They're worried they're going to get in trouble. But, I mean, you would hope you would have a guy, a quarterback, a veteran receiver or something that would say, guys, we need to, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
I'll never forget playoffs. The Patriots are playing the Texans. And Brady said after the game, their game plan was 100% around Danny Woodhead and Rob Gronkowski. Within 2 series, both of them were out. Danny Woodhead broke his finger, and that's when Gronkowski re-broke his forearm.
Okay.
So not just out, done for the year. They're gone. They're not going to see him again. And they basically said, we had to change on the fly because our whole game plan, our whole week, we were talking about how we're going to expose their defense with these 2 guys, and they're gone. Yeah. And they still ended up putting 41 points. I think that's what's impressive about them is they can kind of do that. Good teams could do it. Bad teams can't. Like you watched the Bills the other night, on when they played the Patriots. I mean, it's just it's bland. It's blah. They can't adjust anything, you know?
Yeah. Switching over to basketball, we mentioned the Warriors. They still haven't lost this season.
Any good?
I think they're okay. Defending champions. Actually, it's kind of funny. The Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Defending champions start 10-0.
Yep.
Defending NBA champions now start 23-0.
What are the Royals going to do?
35-0 to start the. Wow, Royals World Series champs.
Yeah.
That sounds weird. Just real quick on the Warriors. I heard EEI and Sports Hub both talking about it. I think Ordway in the midday show and then Maz in the afternoon both referenced that the Warriors are only 10 games away from breaking the winning record.
Yep. I think it's 33. Yeah.
It's 33. Yeah. If you date back to is that the single season record?
I think it's single season.
Is that what they're looking? Okay, because I know it's really like a 27 or 28 game win streak right now.
Yep.
But as far as this year, okay, so I wasn't sure because I was getting frustrated. I was like, no, they're not. They're like 5 games away.
Yeah.
But after the Celtics, they have the Lakers,
and they're all at home because they've played 7 games in a row on the road. They've done their East Coast swing. I think they're going back home.
Now I will say this. And the Sports Hub, where they're making fun of fans. That's what I don't like about the Sports Hub sometimes is they're taking calls from fans who, first of all, we're asking fans if they thought the Celtics could win or would win Friday night.
Yep.
And the fans were calling in saying, yeah, of course we think we could win.
Yeah.
And then the Sports Hub, they're trashing all over these guys, calling them green teamers. What's wrong with thinking your team's going to win?
Well, not just that. It's okay. Let's say the Warriors play tomorrow night, right? And the Celtics win. It's gonna be awesome because
Sure.
it's gonna be cool. But
It's a big win.
Yeah, it's a huge win. But they're not better than the Warriors.
No.
It's an 82-game season. I mean, it's like that's why the playoffs are series and not one game.
You have to. They're gonna lose.
Yeah, they're gonna lose at some point.
So
we think.
The one thing I will give the Celtics credit, even when they haven't had the superstars,
Yeah.
the Garden is usually packed and it's usually rocking.
I was there on Friday night after Thanksgiving, just playing the Wizards. It was packed.
It
was
gets
packed.
loud.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it's a great environment to play in. I think it's going to be electric tomorrow night. And also now Klay Thompson is questionable. He may not even play.
Well, not only that, don't you get the feeling that they're not? Yeah, the Celtics don't obviously have the talent to work. They're not going to back down, though.
No.
You know, they're going to play hard.
Would you? Here we go. The Warriors, I think, beat the Nets in Brooklyn.
Yep.
By like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
Like they almost lost to the Nets.
Yeah.
Are the Celtics going to win? Who knows? But there's a chance that they could.
Yeah.
And like you said, it doesn't mean they're better than the Warriors. It just means that the long road trip out east,
Yep.
the energy of the Garden, Thompson being hurt, who knows?
It could happen.
Curry's been off the last couple nights.
What if he goes 2 for 10 from 3-point land?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they almost blew it to the Pacers the other night.
Yep.
I was sending you those
Yeah.
texts. Next thing you know, they're like leads cut to 5.
Yep.
I think they got outscored in the fourth quarter by like 21 points, and they
Really?
still won by 10 points, which is insane. They gave up 40-something points in the fourth quarter and still won by 10 points, which is actually really good. But anyways, it's going to be exciting. I'll be watching.
They were talking about the crowd and how exciting it's going to be. I just kind of reminds me of like when the Big Three was here.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the kind of environment it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I give them a shot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you texted me. I wasn't even aware of it, but you're number 2 seed right now in the Eastern Conference.
So I was
Charlotte
laying
Hornets.
in bed. I was laying in bed finishing the game, and I went on my phone and looked at the standings. And your 2 seed in the East are the Charlotte Hornets. The Celtics are the 8 seed, I believe, now, and they're 13-9. And the 9 and 10 seed are all above 500, I believe.
Yep.
In the West, the 8 seed is 10-12.
Yeah. It's like
The
almost
Houston
flipped.
Rockets, yeah.
It's almost flipped this year.
And which is crazy because you're right. It's usually the 8th seed in the East is usually 6 games under 500.
Yeah.
And they brought this up on the broadcast. Is there's been a lot of West Coast teams just kind of come out on 5-game road trips in the East and go 1-4 or 0-5. The Rockets have been hammered in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies, same thing. Blazers came out here and they lost 4 or 5 and didn't even play like any of the top teams. So it's weird. It's weird.
It's been a unique.
The difference is the top 2 teams in the West are 23-0 and 18-5. So
It's really the Mavericks have surprised me. They've been a lot better
their
than I
record's
thought.
really good too, and the Thunder too. But at 5 through 8, it's not pretty.
But obviously the Warriors are for real. The
Yep.
Spurs are always there.
Yep, they'll always
And
be
then
there.
that third team in the West that I would take seriously. I'm sorry, I'm not ready to take the Clippers seriously.
Yep.
I'm just not. I will put them behind the Thunder. I think if the Thunder can get Durant and Westbrook healthy, I think they're going to be.
I almost feel like if they can get Durant and Westbrook on the same page.
Yeah. Healthy then,
Yeah.
on the same page.
Like they like each other, but they don't. I don't know.
Love hate.
There's something
Durant's
there.
got 1 foot out. He's got his one.
That's
good
what I'm
foot out
saying.
the
Like
door.
if you can be like, hey, look, we don't know what's going to happen, but just focus this year, and we'll worry about next year at the end of the year.
I said it before the season started. 4 seed for the Celtics. I'm sticking by it. I think they can do it.
Absolutely.
I think they can do it. Marcus Smart is out right now too, and I like Marcus a lot. I think his defense intensity, him and Avery Bradley.
Well, think about it. So you're Cleveland's your best team.
Yeah. In the East, yeah.
The Hornets aren't going to be a 2 seed.
Pacers are very good.
Pacers.
Yeah,
Maybe you put the Heat in front of them.
maybe.
Bulls. So you're at 4 or 5 right there. Everyone else doesn't.
Bucks have fallen off.
Yeah, Bucks have really struggled.
The one, I just lost my train of thought, but the surprise for me for the Celtics.
Yep.
David Lee.
Yeah,
I really like what he's bringing to the table.
Have they started to take minutes away from Kelly Olynyk?
I know Tyler Zeller doesn't play anymore. Olynyk, I think, it's weird. He'll play like the whole second quarter.
Yeah.
And then he won't play.
No, it's
again
funny.
till-
When we were at the game, my wife like tapped me and she like, the long hair. She's like, "Where's the guy with the long hair?" And it was like at the beginning of the second quarter. I'm like, he hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play the whole first quarter.
Yeah, it's weird.
And and at the end of the game, the Celtics were up big, so he played a ton. And ended up, but during the first couple quarters, he didn't play a ton.
I will say this: if you're the Celtics, the one guy I would trade,
Yeah.
Sullinger, because I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Come January, come February, Sullinger's going to go up for a rebound. He's going to come down, and he's going to grab his lower back.
Yep.
And then he's going to miss 2 months. It happens. It's happened in the last 2 years.
And he wonders why he can't make a season.
And if he did, he's going to be like, I don't want to say a 20-10 guy.
Yeah.
But he could be 15-10, 10-10 at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely.
A double-double guy. He's grabbing like 15, 20 boards a game the last week or two, a couple
Yep.
games. But it just seems like after the new year, when you got to get into that grind, I just feel like he always goes down.
Yeah.
It's going to break his foot again or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting too excited about him, but that's why I'd say if you could trade him now and get something in return, I would absolutely do it in a second. I'm sorry, I would.
It was funny. I was listening. Actually, thought the other day listening to the radio. They were talking about David Lee. Then Felker said, he goes, "Does this not prove that coaching in that league is just worthless?"
But we talked about that with Luke Walton.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I think it's worthless on the Warriors. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I do. On the Celtics, though, I don't know. I feel like Brad Stevens has a lot to do with the Celtics.
I didn't mean David Lee. I meant Luke Walton.
Luke Walton.
Yeah,
Okay.
They were talking about how Luke Walton's undefeated,
Yeah,
and it's just it might be it's the sport,
yeah.
I think.
All right. Any thoughts on the NBA? Anything you wanted to cover? Besides, I don't feel like talking about Kobe anymore. He just.
It's getting ugly.
Did you see the last against the Timberwolves? The story. They're down by like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
And there's like seconds left in the game, and the timeout's over, and the teams take the court, and Kobe's not on the court.
Really?
He went over to Byron Scott and said, "Let them run with this."
Well, I was reading an article, and they brought up a point about how Kobe's farewell tour is slowing down the progress of guys like Russell. Like
It is. It's
and
so.
he's saying, and they're saying, well, because now it's his farewell tour, they've got to start him every game, so Russell can't start.
Yeah.
And now, if it's a tight game, they want him to hit the game-winning shot, so they can't play Russell, and it's just impeding his progress as a player. When realistically, you're 3-17 anyway. So,
Byron Scott, I don't like him, and we've talked about this before. There are guys that are bad NBA coaches,
yeah,
and they keep getting jobs.
Yep.
Scott Skiles, Byron Scott, Sam Mitchell.
Stan Van Gundy never did it for me either.
Yeah, he had like Dwight Howard kind of in when Dwight Howard
He could
was
never
decent.
take them over the top. Like
No.
they were always right there.
And he got a ton of money and got the GM title.
He does.
as well.
He's like Bill Belichick of the Detroit Pistons. He does everything over there.
Oh man, Detroit basketball. Leaving the NBA, we'll spend the last half of this podcast talking
3
about
hours.
our bread and butter. MLB winter meetings. Nashville, Tennessee started. Writers, teams started to get there Sunday.
Yep.
The texts start flying. The tweets start flying. You got
Rumors.
this guy going here.
Yep.
That guy going there.
Deals done, then deals off, and
This
deals
guy is
might
going
be
to-
done. This guy beat his girlfriend up.
The biggest story I think of the week was the Dodgers had a deal in place for Aroldis Chapman.
Yep.
So it was interesting because the rumors came out that Chapman was on the move.
Yep.
And then the announcements came and news broke that the Dodgers got him. So the conversation initially was, what are the Dodgers doing?
Yeah.
They have one of the best closers in the game.
Yeah.
Why are you trading for like the second best closer in the game?
Yeah.
Both those guys are going to be free agents at the end of the year, or should be.
Yep.
Chapman's all screwed up now. What are you doing?
It's funny. I was reading something afterwards, and I not forgot about Jensen, but just I think you get excited for the trade,
Sure.
and you think, oh, big name arm, whatever. And basically, the tweet was, I don't remember who tweeted it out, but talked to some people in the Dodgers organization whether the Chapman trade goes through or not. That Jensen is heartbroken. Like he's furious. That why are you doing it? I've done nothing but
Wouldn't
succeed.
it you be though?
You've been outstanding.
And you're going into your walk.
You're going into your walk year. Now they're going to bring in now even if they move. So obviously only one person can close. Even if they say, "Oh, Chapman's going to eighth," whatever. You're like. So you're almost setting them up to say, "All right, we're going to put Chapman in the eighth, but if you struggle, we've got a guy that can close."
Watch over your back.
Watch your back. Yeah. And then I read that they might be in on Andrew Miller if the Chapman thing doesn't go through.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Are they trying to like? I can understand Miller because he has 3 more years, and maybe they're just going to let Jensen walk, but.
So here's the thing, and just to go back just a little bit, rewind. I thought because they lost out on Greinke, and there were rumors that Chapman wanted to be a starter again.
Yeah.
So I figured, but nobody was bringing it up.
Yeah.
Not even like the local Dodger guys, or a Cincinnati guy. So I'm like, oh, maybe I made that theory up in my head. I was out there. It's not there anymore. So my thought process was, okay, well, they're bringing him in to make him a starter.
Yep.
Kershaw and Chapman, go for it.
Yep.
Jensen, whatever his name is, keep your spot.
Yeah.
So then, literally, you wake up the next morning, or even go to bed that night, and there's a news report saying that Aroldis Chapman fired off his gun and like choked his girlfriend.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, that trade is on hold.
Yeah.
And I think before you came over, I've read that the Dodgers are out of it.
Yeah, I read that this morning that they basically said we'll look somewhere else.
So
even if he's cleared, we're gonna avoid.
So this will branch off into another topic, but you go from talking about 2 closers, are they gonna get along, to holy crap, this guy beat up his girl. Well, allegedly beat up his girlfriend and did all this. Fired a gun in the garage, which is weird.
Yeah.
Why would you just go and fire a gun? But anyways,
do you have a gun? Like, I don't have a gun. Like everyone just has a gun.
I don't like guns, but and they always take them out. I feel like he broke a rule by shooting a gun in his house.
Yeah.
I just feel like that might be a law he broke. But anyways,
going off like those guys that like there's like they're Julio Okafor like had a gun pointed at him in a club. Can you imagine going to the club and being like, "Hey, you got your gun with you?" Just like, no, I'm not going there anymore.
Yeah, stay away from that place.
Yeah, probably not good.
I guess what I'm trying to say, and let's get right to it, because we talked about this earlier before we turned the mics on. There were reports that the Red Sox looked into Chapman's history, knew about this, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't make a move for him.
Yep.
And then there are some rumblings that some teams knew about it.
Yeah.
But then Joe Torre comes out, who's MLB player president of and he comes out and says they weren't aware of it. So, and it was an incident that happened late October.
It was the day before Halloween, October 30th.
Okay, so this news is out for a month.
So it's right there in the World Series, right in the middle of the World Series.
Okay, so 0 doubt in my mind that they covered it up.
Yeah.
The Reds and the MLB both knew about it.
Yeah.
The Reds knew they wanted to trade him.
Yeah.
MLB didn't want the bad publicity.
Yep.
And they hushed.
Yeah.
And it's insane to me that they do things like that nowadays, because everything is accessible.
Wouldn't you like get to the point where you're like, it's gonna get out? It's got to get out. Everything gets out.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we covering? You can't possibly cover this stuff up. Everything aren't like police records, like public knowledge.
Yeah.
So you can.
That's how. Did you read the story? Was it Jeff Passan or Jeff Passan?
Yeah, Passan. Yeah,
Passan. A great article.
Yeah.
But it was essentially the police report.
Yeah.
He had like step-by-step, play-by-play of what happened.
Can you still go in the paper and like read the like? I don't
remember
know. They used to do
arrested.
that where like where you can like little stuff like little Johnny stole a lawn ornament off a
I think I don't know. Chapman wasn't arrested, was he?
No, they.
So maybe the whole police. I don't know how that works if you're not arrested.
I mean, you would think they'd arrest him just because he shot a gun.
That's weird to me. But bottom line is they knew, they covered it up, and now who's going to be that team? What do the Reds do now? Who's that team?
I don't think anyone's going to touch him for a little while.
Even and let's give the guy, some type of, I don't want to say respect, but some type of
even if he gets cleared, which he kind of has. The police, if he had beat his girlfriend, they would have arrested him.
He's
if not at
being
the
charged.
time, but by now, he's still guilty.
Just with everything that's gone on with the NFL, you got to be careful, and you don't want to alienate some of your fan base. I feel like baseball would be more hurt by this than football. I feel like football is just a win-it-all mentality.
Yeah.
I feel like baseball is more of like a image type kind of. We our fans are like we don't like football's gonna always be there, always gonna have its fans. Baseball, my dad could stop watching because some guy gets paid too much money or because they bring on a player he doesn't like and he's done watching.
Yeah.
Baseball's more like that. So even if he's cleared and he didn't do anything wrong, he still has that stench around him. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on. So now the Dodgers, as you said earlier, are in and kicking the tires on Andrew Miller.
Yeah.
Who the Yankees signed to, a 3 or 4 year deal
It
last
was like
offseason.
4 years, $40
Why
million.
would they want to move him?
I think they're looking to shed payroll.
Really?
Yeah.
They have to be, huh?
The only thing I can think of is they're looking to shed payroll, and the lack of attendance is starting to catch up to them.
So how do you bring people back? Obviously, you win games. But
Yeah.
you'll sign Chris Davis, Justin Upton.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
But back to the Andrew Miller thing, I think he would be more willing to go to the setup role.
Yeah.
He got his money. He's getting paid.
Yeah.
He would be a better fit in that 8th inning than moving Jensen and.
I guess my
Chapman.
problem is, Jensen's hurt over this. Let's say you don't get either of them.
Now you've got a pissed off closer.
Now you've got a pissed off closer, so you really don't have anything.
Yeah.
A pissed off closer who's a free agent
yeah.
after next
So
year.
if he's a little stiff after pitching on Friday,
Yep.
he can say, "Hey, I'm not good this weekend.
Yeah.
I got to sit it out." And you've got Dave Roberts, first-year manager, who's in charge of this whole mess.
Yep.
So I think the day after, I think Greinke went to the Diamondbacks last Friday. As of our last podcast, I think we threw out Arizona as a possibility because they were in on Cueto, who's still a free agent. But Greinke goes ahead and signs a 6-year, $206.5 million contract, which assuming he makes 34 starts a year, okay, and throws 100 pitches in each start, he will be making $10,000, or I believe it's $10,000 for every pitch he throws.
Not bad.
$1 million a start.
Pretty good.
$34 million a year, 34 starts, $1 million a game. That's insane, huh?
That's crazy. The thing is when you're, I remember when Jason Worth signed with the Nationals.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap.
It was 7 years, like $140 million.
Yeah.
And it was like, because everyone was expecting Worth to sign because, they were waiting for Crawford.
Yeah.
And that was the night before the winter meetings. They locked him up. All the sources were out there, and they were like, I remember watching MLB Network wasn't on yet. I remember watching, I think it was Baseball Tonight, and they had the Nats GM on, and they basically were like, "What are you doing? Like, what the heck are you doing?" And now the Nationals weren't the Nationals at the time; they were horrible.
Sure.
He basically said, "Look, we're not the Yankees, we're not the Red Sox. We need to pay a little more to get a big name guy." And that really sat with me.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't offer him 5 years and 100 and say, hey, we're going to win championships. I think we're going to win championships on the road with him, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I think the Diamondbacks are in the same boat where they had to say, hey, we need to look. If he's looking for 180, we need to wow him and give him 206, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Organizations like that have to give a little more. Why else would you go to Arizona?
Nice dry weather.
Nice dry
hot weather.
Yeah.
Good stadium to pitch in.
Yep.
If I'm not correct.
Yep.
New uniforms.
New unis, dome.
Which is, you sent me the text about it was just so funny because we were looking at the uniforms. But
that's the one thing that I thought is they just It's crazy, but they kind of need to do that. They don't have the history of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They don't have the history of the New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox. So they need to go that extra mile to say, hey, we want you to come here. Look at us. We're down here. Hey, hello.
So Maz compared what they gave up. So the Diamondbacks also made a trade for Shelby Miller, which I really like.
Yep.
But Maz compared the package that they gave up for him to Moncada, Jackie Bradley, and Eduardo Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know what the prospects were like that Arizona gave up. I love the trade. I love Greinke and Miller as your 1-2. And you throw in Patrick Corbin as your 3. I really like...
Who was hurt last year, correct?
I don't know.
I think he got hurt in the middle of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like the 1-2 at least.
Well, no, the point is that they didn't even have him last year. So,
Yeah. And now there's rumors that they could bring on Mike Leake. And somebody, I didn't read the article.
He's from Arizona, Mike Leake.
I read that he wants to pitch so bad there that he'll just take, pennies on the dollar to just go play for...
He went to Arizona State, too, I read.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited for the Diamondbacks. I want to see what Greinke and Miller can do. I'm a big fan of Shelby Miller.
Yep.
I thought he pitched really well in Atlanta.
6 and 17 last year with a 3.2 ERA.
Can
someone get the guy some run support?
I just thought the guy was. I like his mechanics. I like his size. And he's a good age. But then the Diamondbacks, because Jose Fernandez with the Marlins.
Yep.
Coming off Tommy John, had a few starts last year.
Was really good when he came back.
Was pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a very good pitcher.
Yeah.
A lot of strikeouts, power arm. And a lot of teams are trying to pry him from the Marlins.
Yep.
And, Marlins are asking for, everything
As
and
they
the
should.
sun.
As
and
they should.
I read that the Diamondbacks almost pulled the trigger. And then somebody wrote today, if you're the Diamondbacks, why wouldn't you go get Jose Fernandez now?
Yeah.
Right? You didn't give up Pollock.
Yep.
They seem to want to hold on to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Okay, don't stop there. Go get Fernandez. If you're going to go in, why not go all in? And
So I like the Miller deal, and everyone said, they gave up a ton. So here's the problem. I was discussing this with someone last night. So the big name that was traded was Dansby Swanson. Number 1 pick last year, went to Vanderbilt. Every kid under the age of 20 wants to go to play baseball at Vanderbilt.
is this kid a pitcher?
No, he was a shortstop. He was their shortstop.
Okay.
He was on there. I think they made the World Series in 2013, won the national championship in 2014, and they lost in the final game this year. Kids are enamored by him because he, went to, Vanderbilt. And I guess my thing is he's a good player, but the organization is going to move on. The game is not going to stop because Dansby Swanson was traded to the Atlanta Braves.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we're in a time now where we know more college baseball, more stuff is on television. You think you know so much about the prospects.
Yeah.
I brought up the point that I thought that they were almost coaxed and they had to take him number 1 overall. You don't really watch college baseball. I don't watch a ton of it, but I know it from what I do. And every all they do is talk about Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson. It's like he's like a Greek god.
Where's he from?
He's actually from Marietta, Georgia. He's going back home.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool. But 10 years ago, you didn't know who the number 1 overall pick was. You knew him after his pick, but you didn't know what he did beforehand.
Yeah.
I just think that we're in an age. Look, here's my point. The Diamondbacks saw a chance to get themselves a top of the rotation arm, and you know what? Yeah, they gave up the number 1 overall pick, but you don't know what's going to happen.
This all goes back to looking at World Series champions. I mean, you brought up a good point. The Giants in 2014, they had Bumgarner, right?
Yeah.
But then after Bumgarner, you had, I think, Jake Peavy.
Yeah.
And starting game 2 of the World Series.
Their team ERA after Bumgarner was not good. It was over 5.
Big Tim Hudson fan.
Yeah.
Love him.
It was terrible.
After Bumgarner, you had Peavy, Hudson, I think Ryan Vogelson.
Yep.
I feel like, was there one other decent guy in there? Lincecum was hurt. Kane was hurt.
Yeah.
So you look at that Giants team, and they had, offensively, nothing to write home about.
Yep.
They're well managed. but it seemed like they jumped on Bumgarner's back and he brought him home.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you go to this past year, and we talked about it in previous podcasts. The Royals, they traded for their supposed ace, who turned out not to be an ace.
Yep.
They didn't really have an ace. They win the World Series. So what does it truly take to win the World Series? Do you need 3 aces? Do you need Greinke, Miller, and Fernandez?
Yep.
Are Greinke and Miller enough? Does it depend what division you're in, what league you're in? I mean, there's no right answer, right?
Not really, no. And I think just the Diamondbacks are in the situation. So, you have Greinke. I'm sure they probably called them and, at the beginning of November and said, hey, look, I don't know what you're thinking, but, we have a ton of interest. Let's talk,
Sure.
And in the back, probably kept in the back of his head. And all you hear is San Francisco Dodgers and that the Red Sox were in, but now that they signed Price, they're out.
Yeah.
San Francisco's Dodgers. You're the Diamondbacks. You're sitting there. You pried him away from both teams.
Yeah.
And now you're saying, okay, I weakened the Dodgers. The Giants didn't get any better because they didn't get them, and we have them.
They got Samardzija instead of
they got Samardzija.
Greinke, but
Yep. And we have a chance to get Shelby Miller. Now we might be the favorites in the West.
do you think they are the favorites in the West?
I don't know, but there's something about the Dodgers that's starting to concern me. I think
They're a mess.
And it doesn't have to do with it. They almost traded with Aroldis Chapman. I was reading something that they're trying to get rid of Yasiel Puig like the plague.
Nobody wants them.
Yeah, and so I heard a quote from a former player that said he's the worst person that he's ever played with.
Really?
Yeah, like just as a person.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, doesn't he kind of give you that?
Doesn't surprise me.
I can't write off the Giants. They know how to win.
And we're going into an even year.
Yeah,
so
even year. I do think Samardzija is going to be good in San Francisco. Yeah. I've been getting hammered for this, but I think he's going to be really good in San Francisco.
I won't hammer you for it, but I just have I actually went out of my way to look up stats and I think I texted you stats.
Yep.
And just to tell you randomly on like a Wednesday night how bad Samardzija was.
He was terrible.
Led the league in like home runs given up, hits given up.
Yep.
It's not like okay. Look at the baseball metrics. How good were the White Sox defensively?
They were terrible defensively.
So maybe the hits had some. Oh, the home runs.
You can't jump over fences, though.
Yeah, but I want to call it Comiskey Park. It was at U.S. Cellular Field now. Okay, it's a little bit of bandbox.
American League.
He's going to San Fran, West Coast.
Pitchers Park.
A
lot of Pitchers Parks in the division.
Would it surprise me if he had a bounce back year and went 15-8 or 15-10 with a 3.5 ERA? No, it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think he's. I think Shelby Miller's a better pitcher than he is.
Yep.
I don't think Samardzija. I think he is what he is, and he's gonna hover around that mediocre level. And he just strikes me as the type of guy that pitches really well in the first half.
Yep.
Makes the All-Star team, and then sucks the second half. Right? He just strikes me as that type of guy.
that guy. Yep.
He's not the consistent, just battle-tested all throughout the year. That's just like he's one of those guys. What other moves were made this week? Zobrist signed with the Cubs.
Yep.
He's going to play for Joe Madden again.
Kind of snuck in there in the last minute. They said it was Nationals, Mets, and you heard rumors that it was going to get up to $80 million, and I think you texted me they're like $80 million, and I was like, that's what happens when you get two division foes that want a guy. It gets like that.
Well, I saw 4 and 80, and I go, holy crap! I like Ben Zobrist. He brings a lot to the team, but he's not a $20 million player. Yeah. I also texted you, and there was interest on San Fran's part to have him go to left field, play left field, and I was like, I don't know if I like him in left field either.
Yeah.
I like him at second base.
Yep.
Okay. It came down to the Mets and the Cubs. Very interesting to learn that, he first of all, he lives in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
And that's where the winter meetings were.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Like, they signed him, and then he was there with the jersey.
Yeah.
But his wife, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter.
Nope.
She got retweeted a couple times.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know if she's a country musician or just an aspiring singer. She has a CD coming out.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like she had a lot to do. Well, New York, Chicago, maybe her style of music better out there. Chicago, closer to home.
That could be very possible.
I think some people underestimate how much power significant others have in these decisions. Sometimes, like I remember AJ Burnett.
Yep.
His wife didn't like to fly or
Yep.
something, so
He wanted to stay
He wanted to stay like on the East Coast.
Yep.
Or, some weird.
Cole
stuff.
Hamels agreed to go to Texas because his wife is from Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think people are looking back now at Cole Hamels going, maybe that 4-80 wasn't that
Was
bad?
it so bad? Yeah.
Like maybe we should have given stuff up.
I think a lot of teams look at it as money. Like you really, how the Diamondbacks sit there and they say we kind of signed Greinke and we didn't have to give up anything.
Yeah.
Just money.
Yeah.
I know the one thing with Zobrist is I was reading that the one thing he requested teams is he wasn't necessarily concerned where he played. He's willing to play second, left field.
Willing to play.
He wanted, and he said, look, I'll still move around, but I want a semi-consistent position. Like, you got to tell me I'm going to at least play 90 to 100 games at second. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He wanted a better idea of where he was going to be because ultimately he does know that his value is that he can kind of play anywhere. So,
local team made a move.
Yep.
Got rid of Wade Miley.
Yep.
Looking back on it, Porcello, big contract.
Innings terrible year. Yeah.
Innings eater.
Yep.
Big contract, though. Clay Buchholz.
I don't think anyone wanted him.
He just consistency, no. I think Jerry DiPoto.
Yep.
Is that his name? DiPietro?
Yep, DiPietro, yep.
Whatever. He was working with the Sox, knew the Sox
Yep.
farm system and knows the players, blah, blah, blah. It's funny to see him make a trade now with Dombrowski. But I think he came out and said we wanted Miley because he's going to pitch.
Yep.
He's going to take the ball every fifth day.
Yeah.
And also financially, I think he's like seven.
I know he's only owed $6 next year.
So it's very affordable.
Yeah.
You stick him in that rotation. I mean, behind King Felix, he's dependable.
I think
see what happens.
Part of the reason why you wanted to keep him was the reason that he was really your only option to trade. Is Joe Kelly's not reliable.
No.
Buchholz is not reliable and also a free agent after next year.
Yep.
So yeah, you might get him for 35 starts and he's outstanding next year, but then you're going to have to pay him $160 million.
Yeah.
Porcello's contract's big, but not only was it big, but he was coming off a bad year.
Yeah. What do you think about the guy they got back? Because I've read nothing but good things about him. I believe he's Carson Smith.
Big, tall righty, strikes out a lot of guys.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
Saved a few games.
I think they're building quite a bullpen, to be honest with you.
I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've got Kimbrel. They've got Uehara, Tazawa. They've got this Smith kid now. They picked up a couple pitchers in the Rule 5 draft today.
Yep.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means they have to keep them on the 40-man roster.
You have to keep them on the 40-man roster or they go back to their other team.
So does that mean those two guys are going to – they have to keep them now, right?
Yeah, they've got to keep them.
They're going to be on the team.
Yeah, but if they do drop them, which sometimes happen, they're aware that they have to go back to the other team.
That's weird how that works. That's interesting.
Yep.
What do you do if you're the player? You have an apartment in Chicago, then Boston picks you up. You just hang tight for 6 months.
But if you're the player, it's great because you're on the 40-man roster all year.
So you get I'm sure you get paid major league salary.
Yeah, you get it's and when you get drafted in the Rule 5 that you're going to start on the 40-man roster. So
how many guys are you allowed to protect? How does that work? Do you know?
I don't know the exact number, but it's more of a number that you can't protect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then you're unprotected guy. You kind of focus on guys that you can't protect, and then
okay.
I think every team kind of like a Garen Shikini. He got drafted by the Brewers today from the Red Sox.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I saw that he was
probably
with the
a guy
Brewers.
they'd probably want to keep, but just numbers game. They're like, all right, we've got to unprotect. He's going to be unprotected, and there's a chance someone's going to take him.
Is it minor? Yeah, I have to look into that. That's Hey, already at 60 minutes, went by fast. And any other baseball notes you wanted to touch on? I'm trying to think off the Jose Fernandez, some chatter that he's going to get moved. The Yankees, I think they're right. I think they might be trying to shed payroll.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why they would sign. I like Andrew Miller. I wish the Sox could get him back.
Yeah.
And then they got Castro.
Yep.
But there was rumors that they were going to trade Gardner.
Yep.
Who is a good player for them.
Yeah.
The Cubs do need a center fielder. Do you think there's any chance of Theo going after Ellsbury?
Not with that contract, I don't
No.
think. I think he would rather sign a guy maybe
Haywood?
not huh?
Jason Hayward?
Yeah, like a Hayward or an Upton. Maybe not put him in center field, but put him in the outfield.
Yeah.
If I'm the Yankees and you're looking to shed payroll, if the Orioles can't sign Chris Davis, what about Mark Teixeira? He's from Baltimore.
He may accept a trade over there, yeah.
And he's only got 2 or 3 more years left.
Because there were rumors it was Boston, Baltimore,
Yeah.
and New York.
And everyone's like, Baltimore? And they're like, yeah, he's from Baltimore. It was like that was when Baltimore wasn't very good. And you're like, why do you want to go to Baltimore,
Yeah.
So, and they were right behind the Red Sox and the Yankees price-wise.
Chris Davis offered 7 years, 100 and what?
50?
And he hasn't accepted it yet?
They pulled it, actually.
Good for
I
them.
read it.
They got to do things. They can't wait forever.
Well, that's what they said. They said, "Hey, look, we would love to have you, but we do need to field the team next year, and we've got to improve in certain parts, and unfortunately, we can't wait from you." And they basically said, if that offer is still of interest to you, call us and we'll talk. If not, we wish you the best of luck.
Who else would sign him for that kind of money?
I've tried to think of teams. I can't think anyone. John Morrissey said that teams feel that he is athletic enough to play the outfield.
What?
Yeah.
And I don't know, something.
I don't know if it's in a little league field or
I feel like they had him at third base a couple times last year.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I don't know. That guy doesn't do it for me.
Don't you feel like it's a Boris mystery team? Like they're just trying to pull more money.
I think he's crazy to not take that offer from Baltimore. $150 million. In all honesty, say another team does sign him. Say the Tigers.
Yep.
Wouldn't do that. They got
I threw
Cabrera.
out the Nationals out there, but
okay. So say it's the Nationals. Yeah. How much more money is he going to get from the Nationals? $160 million.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but 150 and 160. Okay, we sound stupid. It's $10 million. That's a ton of money.
Yeah.
But come on, it's ton. You're gonna change teams and leagues.
Yep.
I just feel like, and plus you know what? I'll say this right now, and we'll go over by a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the Dusty Baker hire.
Okay.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Dusty Baker in general. I think the game's passed him by.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be one and done if he makes it through the season. I just don't understand. I think he's the wrong guy for that team. And if I'm a player, I don't want to go play for him.
So you think that
I don't want to go play for the Nationals because they don't know what they're doing. They had something good going on.
Yeah.
And they somehow managed to just completely screw it up. And I don't know. I don't like.
I read it earlier when I was coming in. The Nationals are in on Hayward.
I did see that as well.
Worth's a free agent after 17, and Harper can walk after 18. So,
which I think he will.
Yeah, I think he's gonna at least test free agency.
Yeah,
because he'll be 25.
Wow, he's gonna get a $300 million contract, which is insane. 10 years, $300 million.
I mean, he can't be more than 25, 26.
Wow. Any last words before we
No,
close this out?
I think in the next couple of days, by next podcast, we'll have I think the outfield market's starting to shape itself now that all the pitchers are off the market. I'm just interested to see a guy like Chris Davis. Where does he end up?
Yeah.
150. That's just a lot for me.
Takes a lot of balls to say no to that.
Yeah. No, I just 100. That's just a lot for Chris Davis. But if you're the Orioles, you know him. He's your guy. You've been around him through thick and thin. He got suspended a couple years ago.
He did get suspended a couple years ago. Something about that guy.
Doesn't that not like that? They've done a lot for you. If you're Chris Davis.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think I'd remember that kind of stuff.
We'll see. Until next Thursday, we'll talk. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.